you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.
Oh yes. Hold on, I gotta get my hat on. Red hot chili peppers. The best. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is the return of Carmentary. Both hands on the wheel, driving safe, heading out to Niseko. Great opportunity, great weather today. I'm kind of in that talkative mood. I've set the GoPro to 15 minutes, so it's gonna cut off whether I'm done or not. I assure you of that. So today's topic, I've done a couple of these sort of late night little opinion pieces in my office, and they're basically the same thing as a Carmentary. It's just behind a desk. I haven't been driving around as much. So yeah, I've done a couple. This is a continuation. Today's topic is the ridiculousness of plastics today in Japan. Is that a good title? Okay, I think it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. I think it was just before Corona really kicked in. Japan outlawed, or they made a law that says stores cannot give away free plastic bags with purchases. Japan, I think globally, is known as a huge user of plastics and like just throwaway plastics. The packaging of products here is over the top. You buy a pack of 8 cookies, they all come individually wrapped in plastic. Those sit inside of a plastic tray, and the plastic tray is then covered with another, wrapper. You take that to the register, and they put it in a plastic bag, and you take it home. So it's like layer upon layer upon layer of plastic. It's ridiculous. It's always been that way. It's just a cultural thing. Like that's the way it is. Been here long enough, I got used to it. Never really agreed with it. Always thought it was kind of dumb. But yeah. So now they suddenly said, okay, no more of these plastic shopping bags. So you have to pay for them, like 5 yen or 3 yen or something. And the storekeepers have to ask you if you need a bag. So kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's been going on for how many years in the rest of the world? I don't know. There's some stores that have found like little workarounds. Some paper bags are still cool. So there's stores who will like give you a paper bag. Even you go to like the equal of the Home Depot, like the DIY shop, and I buy all these little screws and bolts and all this little stuff, and they put it on this little paper bag for me. Sometimes they'll put it in a small clear plastic bag, like the one they have at the grocery stores, where you tear it off to put in your meat or your tofu or whatever it is that you want to like protect. Those are still there. You can use those, but they won't give you the big strong one with the handles, basically, unless you pay for it. So a lot of people are just paying for it. I do see a lot more people carrying around my shopping bags, basically. I have one in the car all the time, which I always forget when I go into a store. It's like, you have to forget the thing, and then I'm like, I forgot my shopping bag. So that was the situation. It was like, okay, finally, does this affect the way companies package products? I haven't seen the slightest change, not even a tiny bit. Then Corona happens, and there's kind of like in early 2020, in the spring there, people were starting to freak out. It was starting to become in the news. All the tourists went home, like no more flights, and we were still snowboarding in the spring there. And I remember going somewhere in central Hokkaido, and after snowboarding, we came down. We went to the convenience store, and the convenience store had put up the plastic sheeting between the register counter and the customer, with the little space at the bottom that we've all become accustomed to now. And they had kind of just it was kind of a cheap thing. They just sort of like had some hooks in the ceiling, and they kind of a little rope, and there was like this sheet of plastic that they, cut. It was kind of like at an angle. It wasn't even cleanly done. And I was like, oh, they put plastic barriers, But my first thought was like, how dumb. We already knew at that point it was an airborne virus. It's like flying around in the air. So, okay, I understand the logic. You put a barrier between the shopkeeper and the customer. So if someone coughs or someone sneezes, there's no like direct hit. You don't take like a basha like in the face of virus. Okay, but the fact is it's still flying around in the room, and your little sheet of plastic's not really doing anything to prevent that. And my second thought was like, well, now you have this like surface between the customer and the shopkeeper that's like it's basically like a collecting viruses. That thing's like it's like a, what do you call the petri dish in the laboratory? It's like there's all this shit on there accumulating over the day. Who's the poor slob who's got to go and wipe that thing down? I thought maybe it's better it's just like in the air and we ventilate properly. Now you've got like another surface that's like really close. I don't know. That was my first impression, and I was like, is this the way everything's gonna go? And lo and behold, here in Japan, everywhere you go now, without a mandate, and I want to say this, Japan in that sense is amazing and unbelievable. You don't have to mandate things here. People just do it. They see it on TV, someone says it on the radio, it's in the newspaper, and the next day, every company, every office, every restaurant, every store, every toilet, every whatever it is, they just go in and they go, okay, well, that's what we got to do now, and they do it. And that's what happened with the plastic and the acrylic. So now, everywhere you go, every kind of little, definitely between registers, workers and ordinary people, any kind of service industry kind of situation. Restaurants, a lot of places now at the ski resort, you go in, they got the big room, with all the tables. People go buy their lunch and they sit down at the table. They've got these acrylic plastic barriers. They put little wood legs on it. They handmade them there, and they put them in the middle of all the tables. So now you've got this clear plastic barrier between you and your friend or your family. Like, you're sitting across the table from these people, and you've got this barrier in front of you. Okay, if it's someone you don't know and you're sitting at a table with, some random person, yeah, okay, maybe. I don't mind a little plastic barrier, Yeah, who knows where this person's been? Who knows? Maybe they are infected. Maybe they sneeze in my soup. I don't want that. So in a way, I kind of understand it to some extent in a restaurant situation where you're right in close proximity with other people at a table. But now it is everywhere, and it is obnoxious, and I still feel that it's not really doing anything. If someone has a study or some strong information that tells otherwise, please let me know. I don't know everything. I don't have time to listen and watch every news and every podcast report out there. But here in Japan, after 2 years of this corona, and now with corona exploding again, like way more, like this is the worst it's ever been here in the whole 2 years. It seems to me that the plastic everywhere option is not an option. It's not doing anything. I don't know. It might even be making it worse. As I said, you got more surfaces for virus to stick to. Someone's got to come and rub on the thing. People are touching it. It's like, it just doesn't, there's things that make sense in theory, and then there's things that really work in practice. And I think the plastic everywhere is one of those things that just practically doesn't work. Some stores make the little hole between the counter and the plastic too small. Like it hangs down too low. So the clerk has to like touch the thing, pull it up. If it's a soft plastic, a vinyl, they sort of like pull it up and hand you your stuff. So they're touching the thing. Or if it's a thick acrylic one, you can't hear what the person is saying a lot of times. We all got the masks on. Everybody's muffled. You can't read lips anymore. And so there's a lot of this, huh? And you're like ducking under the acrylic thing to like hear what the person's saying. That's reality, you know? It's not a perfect world. That's the way it works. So, my opinion is that the acrylic and plastic everywhere is a huge waste of petroleum, a waste of plastics. Maybe the plastic industry, I doubt they were hurting from the ban on plastic shopping bags. I don't really think that made a dent in their profits. But now with all the acrylic and vinyl sales, I'm sure they're doing great. I know there's a whole industry now. You know, cheap places who don't have a budget, they go to the home center, they buy the vinyl in a roll, and they come back, they cut it with scissors, they hang it up with string and these little eye hooks that you can put in the ceiling or whatever. It looks like crap. Even the sushi shop we went to the other day, which is a nice, decent sushi shop, you've got booths, and between every booth, you know, you're back to back with the other people behind you. They had put the vinyl sheet hung from the ceiling to come down just to touch the chair. So there's like this, you know, but it's all open over here where the staff are walking around and they're giving you your sushi and counting your dishes. But we got the little sheet between the seats, so I feel really safe now. Take off my mask. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, I think it's one of these sort of posturing things. It's like, you know, everybody's got to cover their ass now. I see that all the time. It started with the plastic. It's like, well, someone started the plastic idea. Maybe we should do it too. If we don't have the plastic and someone got sick in our store, then, you know, there would be questions asked like, why didn't you have the plastic up? You know, like, so you just have to do it. Everybody falls in line, right? Basically, I hope we can take all the plastic down very soon, because I just feel it's obnoxious and not doing anything. What else do I have? In closing, there was something else I was going to talk about. Can't remember it now. Oh, the masks. Yeah, the mask thing, huge in America again now, right? Flip-flop back to, you know, everybody should wear masks. Masks in the school or no masks. Blah, blah, blah. It's like battle. Republican, Democrat. It's a political thing now. Who cares? I mean, everybody here is wearing the masks, but again, there's no need to mandate it in Japan. People just do it. But the reality is, folks, it's not perfect. You know, even if every kid wears the mask to school, kids are kids. They don't care. They don't understand. You know, they're happy and healthy and running around with a lot of power. They're taking the masks off. I pick up my kids, I see what's happening in the schools. It's not like, they're down on there, they got the agoma. We call it the agoma, which is the chin mask, or the neck mask, or the one ear mask. They're running around talking to each other. There's no way you can keep masks on kids all the time. The other thing is they're touching them like crazy. I do it too. You gotta get a breath of air. You're like, oh, the fucking mask, and then you put it back on. Or you're in here, you know, at the upper edge trying to get it on your nose right. That's where all the viruses are. You're touching the thing constantly. So, I'm not against masks. I think they definitely cut down a lot of the spewing of, you know, droplets that we all do. But you can't go around acting like masks are gonna save everybody. You know, it's not a perfect thing. A lot of people got crappy masks.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary